It's Michael Popok, Legal AF. Here's an idea. If you're running for office and you make the provocative choice that you're going to go into a primarily all-black Democratic town like Detroit, Michigan, and you're going to get up on the stage and start challenging your rival, your opponent, to some sort of cognitive face-off. You know, I'm more compos mentis than you are. I'm more cognitively intact than you are. Then maybe you want to get the name of your doctor right when you say it over and over again to your audience. Donald Trump loves to talk about how he has some sort of perfect memory. He's been given all sorts of mental acuity tests, cat, dog, camera, woman, whatever it was. And he says he was given a clean bill of health by the person that occupied the Surgeon General's office, who's now some sort of, I don't know, congressman or senator. That person, by the way, is not named Ronnie Johnson. You would not know that from how many times Donald Trump has called his doctor by the wrong name, while he's trying to make the point that Joe Biden is, in the words of the campaign and everybody around them and all the talking points, demented, losing it, not with it, wandering off, a zombie. Try to get your own doctor's name right. Let's play a clip.
Dr. Ronnie Johnson. Does everyone know Ronnie Johnson, congressman from Texas? He was the White House doctor. And he said I was the healthiest president he feels in history. So I liked him very much immediately.
So what's the backstory here? Charlie Kirk brings in Donald Trump in a provocative way. They seem to be making some sort of tour of black epicenters, black Democratic strongholds in America, trying to say that Donald Trump likes black people. Joe Biden doesn't like black people. You know, whatever this ridiculous is. They're trying to peel away 1 or 2 or 5 black votes as they're trying to figure out how to plug the hole and overcome Joe Biden's electoral advantage. That's all this is. Every time you see Donald Trump go to a bodega where he's never been before, go into a Chick-fil-A and hug a black Republican plant, and I mean a person who's planted there for him to hug, or gets up on a stage in Detroit or with a hot mic moment calls Milwaukee, where the Republican National Convention is going to be a shithole, you know, like that. He's trying to peel away and find votes wherever he can find it. Because by and large, the black community, the Hispanic community, the Jewish community, women by and large, vote in large numbers for Democrats. But if he can find a way to make a couple of people say, maybe I'll vote for that guy, he thinks that's a winning bet. But he takes the stage. You know, we already know that he uses AI to write his speeches. Now we know why. I think those are the speeches that are actually coherent. I think when he's incoherent and doesn't make any sense, you know, even the business community in a recent roundtable was like, this guy doesn't make any sense. This guy's insane. Reminds me of the scene from a famous movie called Bananas, where the Fidel Castro type dictator comes out one day totally crazy and says, from now on, you'll wear your underwear on the outside of your clothing. I mean, the Business Roundtable was like, this guy is not tracking. The more you spend time with Donald Trump, the less competent and less mental capacity you believe he has. Proper sleep can increase focus, boost energy, and improve your mood. Introducing Beam's Dream Powder, a science-backed healthy hot cocoa for sleep. If you know me, you know that Dream has been a game changer for my sleep, and boy, do I need sleep these days. I drink Beam's Dream Powder each night in order to get my optimal sleep. And I gotta say, I wouldn't be recommending this if it didn't actually help me. And today, my listeners get a special discount on Beam's Dream Powder. Their science-backed healthy hot cocoa for sleep with no added sugar. Better sleep has never tasted better. Now available in delicious flavors like chocolate peanut butter, cinnamon cocoa, and sea salt caramel, with only 15 calories and 0 grams of sugar. Other sleep aids can cause next-day grogginess, but Dream contains a powerful all-natural blend of reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, melatonin, and nano CBD to help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up refreshed. The numbers don't lie. In a clinical study, 93% of participants reported Dream helped them get better sleep. Beam Dream is easy to add to your nighttime routine. Just mix Dream into hot water or milk froth and enjoy before bed. Find out why Forbes and the New York Times are all talking about Beam and why it's trusted by the world's top athletes and business professionals. If you want to try Beam's best-selling Dream Powder, get up to 40% off for a limited time when you go to shopbeam.com/legalaf and use code legalaf at checkout. That's shopbeam.com/legalaf and use code LegalAF for up to 40% off. But here in Detroit, which is what we're talking about with that clip, where he does not poll well with the Black and Latino votes, although he's getting a slight edge to that. So that's why he's going into places like the South Bronx and Detroit and other places. But when he's up there bragging about, in his 80-minute run-on speech, about how he passed his cognitive tests and that he was given a clean bill of health by his physician, who's now a Republican member of Congress. He keeps calling him Ronnie Johnson. Has anyone heard of Ronnie Johnson, congressman from Texas? And he asked the crowd. He was the White House doctor, and he said I was the healthiest president he feels in history. So I liked him very much. Unfortunately, the guy's name was not Ronnie Johnson. His name was Ronnie Jackson, who now represents Texas' 13th congressional district. Yes, he's one of the loyalists of Donald Trump, but even he had to say, probably not a good look when you're claiming that your opponent is mentally incapacitated, that you can't even figure out who gave you your mental cognitive test by name. And of course, none of his sycophants or bootlickers or cult followers thought to correct him, like yell out, "It's Jackson!" I would have loved that. He would have thought he was being heckled. Take that person out and have him executed. That's what Donald Trump likes to do. That's his fetish. Charlie Kirk's got his own baggage. He's been known to criticize and say that Martin Luther King Jr. was an awful person. And that's why he tried to bring Donald Trump into a place that's 77% Black. And Detroit is important because in Michigan, it was a very close vote, if you recall, from 2020. Biden won it, but he won it by like 150,000 votes, which is, it's not nothing. I mean, he won by, in a lot of states, 7 battleground states, he won by just enough. It's pass fail. You either win or you lose. And he won, whether it was 10,000 votes, 5,000 votes, 20,000 votes, 150,000 votes. But in a close election, you can make up 150,000 votes. And that's what Donald Trump is trying to do with these meetings. But, if he's going to get up on stage, for his, and go to churches and address these crowds, and have Steve Bannon up there right before he goes to jail and all this other, and bring out, this is like the Felon Tour. I feel like I'm watching like old comics getting together to do a last tour, except the comics are replaced by felons and they're all supporting Donald Trump, and his crowd cheers for them. I mean, if you pulled any of these people aside 10 years ago and said, do you ever think you'll be one day celebrating and cheering on a criminal candidate for the presidency surrounded by other felons? I'm sure most of these people would say, what are you even smoking right now? What are you even talking about? No, we wouldn't do that. This is what we're watching with Donald Trump. So look, we got to bring it to your attention. I don't usually do these types of hot takes, but when I saw it, I was like, I got to do this one. So I'm doing it. It sits at the intersection of law and politics. And it also sits at the intersection of bat, shit, and crazy. And I wanted to bring that to your attention too. So until my next hot take, you can look forward to me on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on the MeidasTouch YouTube. Free subscribe. Help them get to 3 million before the November election. Do you see how important it is now? And if you don't know why we called it Legal AF 4 years ago, now you know why. If you don't, join us on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time and on major podcast platforms of your choice. So until my next hot take, until my next Legal AF, this is Michael Popok reporting. Heary, heary, Legal AF Law Breakdown is now in session. Go beyond the headlines and get a deep dive into the important legal concepts you need to know and we discuss every day on Legal AF. Exclusive content you won't find anywhere else, all for the price of a couple of cups of coffee. Join us at patreon.com/legalaf. That's patreon.com/legalaf.